Hello and welcome to Archvelder's Hacks with Archvelder and his amazing hacks. World of Warcraft is a beautiful world crafted meticulously with care and attention, and players compete for the highest rewards in a spirit of cooperation and harmony. So how can we put a stop to that? Let's find out in this top 10 countdown of annoying trolling exploits. This video is so bad even Vulti won't plagiarise it and stretch it out into 3 different videos. Probably. The toy item Nihileth, Slither of N'Zoth, is one of the best ever additions to the game for trolling purposes. A simple glitch in its design allows you to attack members of your own faction without any repercussions. When you use this item, it allows you to kill members of your own faction, for example, shoot them out of the sky with the Netomatic 5000. But my favourite is to use a monk and Mighty Ox Kick to kick people unwise enough to stand near the edge of Borellis Harbour into the sea. That's quite enough of that, so here's some more of it. This works with other forms of knockback also. The trick here is that the toy activates a buff on your character, and you can simply click it off if anyone attacks you, which will return you to friendly status with your own faction. However, I'd recommend using the following macro as it's a lot faster. Now, have you ever dreamt of unleashing a small army of deranged penguins on your friends? No? Well, let me show you how. Here in the Amphitheatre of Anguish in Northrend, there's a quest chain where you fight multiple different bosses, the fourth of which is called Orinoco Tuskbreaker. Orinoco has an ability which causes you to smell of fish and attract multiple penguins. If you take a teleport, you'll find that the ability is actually a debuff and lasts through the port. So you'll have multiple penguins accompanying you wherever you go. You don't need to be a mage to do this. You can accept a port to a random battleground, LFR or a lock port. If you have some way to drop combat, then the penguins will attack your battle group or raid group or whatever. They don't do that much damage. I mean, what did you expect? They're penguins, but whatever. Here's another trick you can use to annoy people in the battleground Seething Shore. Stand exactly in the spot I'm showing. There is a rogue bit of code which allows you to duel people if you stand in exactly this position, which is entirely pointless because you have the battleground preparation buff active, which makes the player you challenge unable to actually damage you, so you can just stand there and laugh evilly at them. Druids have flight form ability and can fly over the heads of their opponents. To prevent abuse of this power, Blizzard have made it so that druid abilities are pacified whilst in flight form. After all, it would simply be ghastly if you could just burn low level players to death without them being able to fight back in any way. That would just be ridiculously unfair. Can you imagine what would happen if they massively screwed up a simple yet overpowered ability like Fury of the Loon, allowing druids to murder unsuspecting players from range and let it go on for an entire expansion? It would just be ghastly. Especially if people kept doing it again and again to fuel their unbridled petty narcissism in a futile attempt to compensate for all their inadequacies and failures as a person. Moving on to rogues now. The Blade Rush ability has a strange glitch associated with it. If you attack from distance, it does not pull you out of stealth. Provided the person you're attacking is sufficiently low level, you will remain stealthed, unseen by high level players or guards alike. It hardly needs mentioning that the engineering item Swap Blaster is almost perfect for trolling, especially for the purposes of trapping your allies in inescapable positions, such as this location in Isle of Conquest. A similarly dumb and childish trick you can use for dueling is located in Goldshire. Lure someone into the inn and then jump behind these barrels. If your opponent is unwise enough to follow you, they won't be able to get out. The only way is via Hearth or a class teleport ability such as Mage Blink or Lock Demonic Circle. Class-based teleport abilities like Deathgate and Dreamwalk do not work. The next method can be used in Retail, but it is actually more effective in Classic. If you attack this mob here in Shadowfang Keep, they'll give you a debuff, which periodically spawns ghosts, which attack anything in the vicinity. You just get the debuff, teleport somewhere else, wait for a ghost proc, drop combat, and watch as the ghosts annoy high-level players, as I'm doing here in Stormwind, or if you are feeling particularly sadistic, go to a low-level area and watch the ghosts murder everything. This is an awful lot of fun. At least for you. Not for anyone else, obviously. The next ability is one of my favourite ways to troll. It is only this far down the list because I've shown it before. Polymorph and indeed most forms of non-damaging crowd control abilities like Sap don't attract the attention of guards in neutral zones the way damaging abilities do. So if you stand in the right place and your target isn't too close to a guard, you can sheep them repeatedly, and if they respond with a damage attack, the guards will descend on them, making for much hilarity. On a similar note, the following engineering item has a wonderful property for stealth users. It's the Organic Discombobulation Grenade. It produces 5 sheep, which, when they come into contact with another player, polymorphs them into something bizarre. This item clearly wasn't designed with stealth users in mind, as the delay involving throwing the grenade allows the player to slip back into stealth before it lands, essentially allowing the player a free attack. The following technique allows the player to attack with no comeback. For this you'll need some kind of instance portal. With this portal, Blackrock Foundry, my mage can just blink through it. Not all portals allow this. The universal method for all classes is to just hit instance cap going in and out of the dungeon or raid, and then you can simply walk through the portal without being teleported. From this position you are essentially invulnerable. Melee combatants can't get at you at all without entering the dungeon, and ranged classes can just be line of sighted. You can stand here and endlessly troll people coming in and out of the dungeon. I can do this for very long periods of time. In many ways I feel like it's my calling, my duty as a complete scumbag. If the players you're trolling try and fight back, just run out of range, as the last thing you want is any kind of fair fight. You'll need some means of dropping combat just in case they have a pet or minion which can pass through instance portals. Now, I have a strict ethical code when using exploits. I use my powers for intellectual discovery, creativity, and sometimes the occasional act of mischief. But I never use exploits to kill other players, unless I really want to. If any player should figure out how to get behind the instance portal, then obviously a man of honour will stand and fight his ground. Or you can just run away into the instance portal where they can't get to you. So there's the video. If you liked it, you're probably a horrible person, and why not subscribe? And if you really liked it, you might want to consider joining my super secret Patreon feed, where some of the most powerful exploits in the game get posted on a regular basis, and I post actual useful stuff like how to make gold. Thanks for watching. This has been Archvelder.